Hi YouTube friends, hope you guys are doing well. Can you believe that the first quarter of this year's gone, is finished and over with? We are on the 1st of April, start of the second quarter of the year, not of our financial year. Obviously the financial year ends finished in February. So we started the second quarter of this year. Can you believe how time flies? So I just want to continue. I know that I did answer some of the questions of you guys about 2 weeks ago. So that one I did a little bit later. I think it was about middle of March when I recorded that one. I decided this one I want to do it a bit earlier. So yeah, firstly I just want to thank you guys for all your comments and for the subscriptions. Hey, and I made the 7,000 mark this month, or just the other day. I made the 7,000 subscriber mark. So thank you very much. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for commenting. Just keep on watching. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas or plans or anything that you guys want to know more about, maybe just comment in the video as well. I'll see what topics I can maybe cover in future. I've got 1 or 2 exciting things that I'm busy working on, but I'll give you guys some more information about that maybe later in the year. So let's quickly see. So some of the comments. David Maria, so I need to add a subject line to my quotes and invoices. Now I see that is in the Sage tutorials. An example quote: drafting and submitting something development. How do I do that? So let me just have a quick look and then I will show you how to do it if it can be done. Yes, so just jumping back to your question quickly. I see that you're talking about the subject line, which I assume is probably for the emails that goes out with the invoices. You see, so if you say that you want to add a quote, and I just want to just test it quickly. If I say that I want to do a quote for this guy, I'm just going to just select some random item and then maybe just put in a price over there of $1,000. And then I just want to quickly see if you hit the email button. Normally the second screen over here, you can see that over here you can put some information over there. So there you can actually change the subject line to say quote for whatever it is. And then over here you can change that. You can see even with the email signature, there's different ones that you can use as well. And if I remember correctly, with the email signatures, the way you set that up is part of your company setups. So I think I'm obviously working on the demo company, so I can't access that screen over there, but it would normally be under your company settings. Let me just quickly check on the company notes whether it's not maybe no, I don't think it's there, but that is normally the place where you would set it up. But I mean, if you want to give them something specific, then you would just put it over there, which is really cool, is you can just add some attachments over there as well. So that is basically where you would do it. I think in the invoices it works exactly the same. So if you had to open up an invoice over here, you open up this invoice over here, and you said that you want to email it, then you'll see on the first screen over here is where you can select those email signatures, and then obviously the subject line. So I think that is probably what you're referring to. So that's actually quite an easy fix. David Maria, I hope that answered your question for you. Oh, another one. You are happy with the way that quote is showing? To me it's poor. Looks like all the empty spaces between Cape Town and 7975 in the address. To make it poor layout does not make it for a professional quote. Also I look at the quote. What is it for? Yes, if you only have one item or account it might work, but as a consultant offer quote for drafting license for water, I have about 10 items. Somebody picking up the quote has no idea what it's about. I think that's probably a thing that you're going to have to sit and figure out with Sage. I mean, every program out there has got its limitations of what it can do. I know that with Sage, it's got a limitation of the amount of characters that it can put in a line. So you're very limited to what you can do over here. And I know with the layouts, like I said, they've got all these different ones over here. And I know that there is a place where you can actually add layouts itself, that once again is here under the company settings, and this one I can't access it over here now. But there is some more stuff that you can actually do in terms of doing the layouts of the quotes. Let's quickly see. Yeah, so have a look at that. Yes, so the thing about the subject line and the quote, I think I did answer that question. If you want more help, contact the guys at Sage. They're normally quite helpful with these type of things as well. Eugene van Staden, expert tax. Good day. Would I qualify for tax relief exceeding 1.25 million threshold when I'm a direct payer on medical aid, retirement annuity, and would my salary earned during that financial period be taken into account even when paid in Forex global account when the salary remains in US dollar currency? So you work abroad, I'm still a tax resident, and I'm not sure if the employer pays tax in the country of work. My rotation is 9 to 10 weeks in a foreign country and 3 weeks a day. So remember, they've got those different rules. So I think the first thing, because you said that you're tax residents, obviously remember you're going to be taxed on your worldwide income, so not just in a South African sourced income, you see. So whatever you earn overseas, you're going to be taxed in South Africa. That rotation basis that you're talking to, so if you meet that 183-day requirements, then obviously the money you earn overseas, you will qualify for that exemption, the 1.25 million rand. So it doesn't matter what currency you earn in, even if you don't bring it in South Africa, you still need to declare it on your form. But what you can do is, these guys at Expat Tax, I know that they do the first consultation for free, so maybe if you're not sure, contact those guys, make an appointment with them, have a quick chat with them over the phone, explain to them your situation. They're definitely going to be able to give you the right direction, or just think, because the thing is, with Expat Tax, there's so many things that you need to take into consideration, that you can very easily just miss one thing and then everything is messed up. Just quickly check here. Yeah, see, now we're watching videos and channel. Thanks for this share. Sub to fellow creators. So this is really cool. I'll check that your channel as well. your channel out as well. Yasin. I think he's based in South Korea. It'll be so lucky to do a video with you at some stage. Get back to me, then we can have a look and see what we can do. Flaming Rough. Thank you for this info. So we're talking about the questions. Wanted to ask you that if you have a company and you pay yourself a salary but below the individual tax amount, do you still need to sign up for individual income tax even though you don't be paying any? And secondly, does your company need to pay any employee fees? So remember that as soon as you have a company registered and you take a salary out of that company as a director of a company, you have to register for pay as you earn. You could probably, it'll be wise to do that. And then obviously the Department of Labor, they say if you work longer than 24 hours a month, then you have to register there. So here's the director. Remember, you're taking out as a salary out of the company, so it would normally be wise to do those registrations, because otherwise they're going to come knock on your door and you haven't got that stuff registered, then you might run into trouble, you see. And I think for them as well is also a way to make sure that you do declare that income, because quite often small businesses, the salary that people earn there, so if you earn, for instance, like 70,000 rand, so some people think, no, they don't need to declare it, and then at the end of the day, SARS picks it up, and then they're going to make you declare those incomes. So if you earn other income as well, they can add it together, and then you might sit with a tax liability there, you see. So it's good to lay the foundation right, make sure that you do all the registrations so that there can't be any comebacks in the future. And remember that if you work for yourself, your aim is you want to start getting to that place where you actually got to start paying tax. Otherwise, why are you running your own business? So I think, you need to push yourself. You need to up that salary of yours so you can make sure that you're making money. Nuri, thanks for your reply. You mentioned in the video that you offer one-on-one classes. How do I go applying for the classes? So just pop me an email or send me a WhatsApp and then we can have a chat about that. So I do one-on-one classes as well. So we would normally book a consultation with the guys. Obviously, I send through the invoice, make the appointment, and then at that date and time, we pop into your Sage or onto TeamViewer or something like that, and I'll give you a rundown of whatever it is you need. And then for that hour, how long we're busy, you can ask me any questions regarding Sage. I can help you with bank records and all that type of stuff that needs to happen. I hope that answers your question. Reach out to me, then we can see what we can do. So next one is UIF. Saying things, this is how it's supposed to work. I paid an agency and followed it up myself. 2 years have gone by, nothing. One big corrupt money laundering machine. The Department of Labor is a nightmare. I think these guys have been flooded so much with a lot of different things. And the thing is as well, we saw, was it 2 years ago when they started with those two things, that there were so many changes the whole time. Today they say, no, you have to fill in these forms, you fill the forms and send it in. Tomorrow they come back and say, no, those forms don't work anymore. Now you've got to do it this way. So quite often, even the people that does the work for you are just as frustrated because they keep on changing the system. So you're busy working with a moving target. So most of the people that does our work for us, that helps out a lot of my clients, are those guys that's listed on my website. So if you go to the SA Accounting Network website and you go check, where's the link? Let's quickly see. I've got a link over here. But the girl that's in Mossel Bay, she helps all my clients with the UIF stuff. So just complete this form or contact Tanya Bushma, and then she will help you sort out. Or even just general answers. If you've got questions, then it's good to just touch base with her. She normally doesn't charge if it's just like a quick phone call or whatever. Let's quickly see customers and invoicing. Where does one generate a delivery note? And let me just check that out here quickly. Yes, so what will happen is with the delivery notes, if you go to your invoices and you obviously have the list of invoices, you see on the right hand side there's a little button over there that says actions. So you see over there is the one that says print delivery notes. So this is the place where you would actually print it from, you see. So that is where the guys would print it, obviously sign it, and then that is where the delivery note would happen. Eugene, yeah, that's the place. Let's quickly have a look. Alban, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Income tax. Content suggestion tax writer for small businesses. Yeah, so with it, it's obviously important to get a hold of an accountant that they can guide you as to what you can write for small businesses. Most of it general stuff, I think that the best test to see what you can write for businesses as expenses is the big question that you need to ask yourself is are those expenses incurred in the production of income? And if your answer is yes, then you can write it off as an expense. If the answer is no, then don't write it off as an expense because then it's a personal expense. So as long as you can prove that you had to incur that expense to produce income from it, then it will be a valid expense for tax purposes as well. So I think that's the broad definition. Obviously, there's certain things that you still need to, that's a little bit of a gray area. So always make sure that you get in touch with the tax consultant so they can guide you in the right process. Such representatives, Moshindi, yeah, no problem. And the e-filing representatives, as I mentioned, they changed those things a little bit. That other way that I mentioned in the video still works, but I see that these days that if you go to the SARS homepage and you go to online services, and then from there, once you're on online services and you go to register representative, if you follow the steps here, the ones that we did recently now, we did 2 in the past week, and both of them came through like within a week. They did those representatives. I think they got a little bit flooded at the call center, people making appointments to do this, that they realized that they had to jack up the system. Otherwise, the people's going to keep them really, really busy. Mercy, how to get a tax number? I need help. Yeah, if you're not sure, follow the steps in the video. If you don't come right, phone the SARS call center. They're the guys that's going to be able to help you. I know that a lot of people have been complaining about the SARS call center, that they're not answering their phones, but phone them as soon as they give you that callback function. Then just ask them to phone you back. They normally do, and then from there they can sort you out. Tim Bob, let's have a look. Originally stumbled across your videos a long time ago and looking into account software options, found them very easy to follow. Your accountants have just got a company to Xero platform, so I was looking for some tutorials. Glad yours popped up. Thanks, man. Tim, yeah, so the Xero thing is something that I started a while ago, but I never actually finished the series. I think I've only recorded 2 of them, so I actually need to do the rest of it. And Xero is also such a little program to work on. Yeah, so Xero is not bad. Like I said, every accounting package is more or less the same. It's just a matter of figuring out where the buttons are. If you know where the buttons are, then you can basically do anything on any accounting program. But yes, Xero is it's a nice program to work. The only thing is, I would say that Xero is maybe a little bit geared toward bigger businesses, just the way that they set up the users and the profiles and the permissions and all that type of stuff, where I think for very small businesses, Xero might be a little bit of an overkill. But it works. It's a really lovely program, and I think what's really nice about Xero is all these other programs that can interact with it or that you can plug into this thing. So it's a very easy program, or it corresponds or it works together with a lot of other programs as well. Let's quickly check. January, February questions. Let's quickly see. I'm still working through your content, but can you please explain how international tax works? Like if I'm freelancing for international company, or if I create a company for international clients and the tax structure payments are still the same. If you start working with international tax, that's a real different bit of a ball game. And I think the best would be to reach out to those guys at Tax Consulting SA, because they obviously work with tax systems between different countries, because every country's got its own tax rules. So if you say that you're freelancing for an international company and you're based in South Africa, then it doesn't matter what country you're in, you still can have to comply to the South African tax laws and make sure that you declare your worldwide income in South Africa, pay tax in South Africa and stuff. But if you're talking here about creating a company for international clients, so if you create an overseas company, then it's a whole complete different ballgame. The problem with those type of things is now you can register a company, let's say for instance in the US, and you have to administer that thing from South Africa, and you're not sure about how the tax laws work and all that type of stuff, so you're going to have to find an accountant in America that's going to have to manage that company that side and make sure that you do all the compliance stuff right, and then after that you still have to look at the South African side of things to make sure that you declare everything correctly on this side. So if you're just doing normal freelance work, I wouldn't go that route, because you're just going to complicate things for you. To administer something like that, it's probably going to cost you maybe 20,000-30,000 Rand a year just to maintain that structure. And if the benefits that you're getting from that structure is not worth it, then I don't know if it's worth going through all that complexity. My suggestion always to people is try and keep it as simple as possible, because the more complex it becomes, the more dangerous it becomes as well. I think Richard Branson made a statement, and he says anybody can complicate things. The trick is to keep things simple. So try and keep it as simple as possible. Don't complicate your tax affairs. Once you start making money and you're in a position where you start paying excessive amounts of tax, then you can start looking at other ways to legally try and lighten your tax burden. Yeah, so just be wise, Alison. Don't go do stupid things. Petrus, we were talking about customers and invoicing Sage. How do I allocate payment to invoices from the previous years that were paid partially? How do I allocate payments to invoices from previous years that were paid partially? So normally, if there's amounts that is not paid, you would go to customers, transactions, allocate the receipts, and then over here is the place where you would find payments that weren't allocated completely. So if you had to choose one of your, so let's say for instance like this one was maybe last year, and that payment was for that invoice, then you would just drag it over, and then after that you hit the save button. So that is where you would do most of your allocations. Let me just make sure. How do I allocate payments from invoices? Payment to invoices from previous years that were partially paid. Yeah, so that's the place. You go to customers, transactions, allocate receipts, and then that is the place where you would do those allocations over there. Hope that answers your question. Jamelo. Income tax, let's have a look here. Thanks, yeah. I have a service-based business, and I was wondering, since you posted this video a few years back, has SARS changed their policies in acknowledging service-based companies for these reduced taxes? If not, what would be advised be to pay less tax? What is the deductions options for me? I'm not sure if I should inquire about services of an accountant or rather a tax practitioner to help with this. Most tax practitioners are accountants as well. So it's always good to reach out to them and ask them about their opinion about this. SARS hasn't changed the policies, everything is still the same. So if you are in a service-based industry, I was actually looking at another client this morning. Let me quickly try and find that guide. Yes, so let me quickly show you something. So if you could look on the SARS website, and you go search for this guide, which says tax guide from tax and micro businesses guide. If you go search for this guide, there's quite a comprehensive guide out there. I see the one that's popping up is an old one. I know there's a newer version of this, but this guide is very helpful in terms of if you look at turnover tax or small business corporations, a lot of rules are the same. And what's nice about this one is they give you a further breakdown at the back. No, it's not on this one. Let me just quickly find the right one. Yes, so if you had to go to my website, if you search for Tax and Micro Businesses Guide 2016, you'll see here's a tax guide. I listed it on my website as well, where they talk about turnover tax. So you'll see right at the back over here, they give a lot of descriptions of service fields, and this is something really nice to see. So here they give a lot of different things of what it is that you're doing. So these are the things that they would say as personal services, because the normal tax guide for small business corporations doesn't actually have this part over here. So this you can always use as a reference point to see what it is that you're doing. If your name appears over here, then you know, then you're out the bus, then you can't qualify for those. So I think that's where you need to get in touch with an accountant to see how you can structure your business, to try and figure out what you've got to pay and what your business is going to pay, and then to obviously just try and do a little bit of structuring, you know, that you can do over there. Yeah, so if you're service-related business, there's not really much you can do. You're just going to have to pay tax. Let's have a look at the next one, Imari. Xero or Sage 1. I think that's a personal preference type of a thing. As I mentioned before, I think Sage is more geared towards smaller type of businesses. With that being said, I know that there's a lot of companies that's quite big that use a Sage, whereas Sage is geared towards smaller businesses. Xero, I would say, is a little bit more complex in the way that everything is set up, and I would suggest, just from experience, that bigger type of companies, there's more functionalities in Xero. So if you were looking for a plain accounting package that can do the basic stuff and does it well, has some extra added benefits and stuff, then Sage, I think, is the way to go. If you want your accounting software to integrate with a lot of different things and stuff, then Xero might be the better option. I think Xero is obviously a little bit more expensive than Sage. But yeah, test both of them. I think both of them's got a trial period that you can sign up for and then test it and just see. For sure. Most of our clients are on Sage 1 because I focus mostly on smaller type of businesses, but Xero is good. I've got a couple of clients who's on Xero and they're extremely happy on the package. So I think, test both of them, see which one works best for you, and then from there you'll be sorted out. Let's quickly see Joshua. And this video is on how does tax work. Let's quickly see. I was wondering if you plan in the near future making a video explaining sole proprietor tax and freelancing using a website called Upwork, and I just wanted information regarding tax, because from what I hear, it can be a complicated topic, especially when dealing with international foreign payments. Since I'm a sole proprietor, I'm liable to pay up to 40% of my income, which is really frightening to say the least. I'm 20 years old and live in Cape Town. Yes, Joshua, so that is always a little bit of an issue. I think sole proprietors, and especially if you work for overseas companies, the problem is, as I mentioned a bit earlier in this video as well, is whatever you put onto your return, you must be able to prove that those expenses was in the production of income. So if you work for overseas company, you work in South Africa, it's probably stuff like your internet, maybe a telephone, maybe a computer. If you have to drive a little bit for them, then you can probably put those type of expenses through. But it doesn't matter whether you're a company or whether you're sole proprietor, the principle stays the same, that you're still going to end up paying tax. I think if you start earning big amounts of money, then it might be beneficial to register as a company, because you've got a little bit more flexibility in terms of the maximum tax rate. So if you look at your maximum tax rates for companies, remember it's 28% flat rate. So, but if you look at tax tables 2022, I just want to just use this as an example, then you can see it works in the sliding scale. So you can see that you pay up to 226,000, you pay 18%, and then up to 353,000, you pay 26%. And you can see over here, it starts becoming more expensive to take money out than versus leaving it in a company. So if you're earning more than $500,000 a year, then it might start becoming beneficial to actually register your venture as a business itself, because then if you had to leave the money inside the company, then you would be paying 28% tax, where over here you start paying 31%. However, if you do decide you want to take the money out of the business, then if you go the company route, remember you've got to pay 28% company tax, and then after that you've got to pay another 20% dividends tax. So the effective rate then becomes, I think, is 43.3%. So then you fall into this, almost into this tax bracket. So then it's cheaper to keep money, to take it out as a salary up to 1.7 million, and then only after that you're going to start paying 45%. So then it becomes cheaper to take it out in the name of the business, then you see. So it just depends on what your intentions are. If you want to keep the money inside the company and invest in stuff, buildings and cars and that type of stuff, then this might be the threshold when you need to start looking at a company, where if you want to take all the money out, then you only, once you exceed 1.7 million, that's when it becomes cheaper to actually take the money via company. Yeah, let's quickly see. So sole proprietor tax. Yeah, I'm personally not very fond of working with sole proprietors because the receiver of revenue nails the guys. So sole proprietors is a soft target. Any expense that you're going to put on your return, they're going to scrutinize those things, ask for questions, they're going to ask for all the slips, try and disallow those expenses because sole proprietors are just easy targets for the receiver of revenue. So I always recommend to the guys, if you do go the sole proprietor route, it will normally be just to start a business and just to test the concept to see whether it works. Then after that, my suggestion is always to change over to a company. Yeah, so that's just my 2 cents. But it's your choice. I mean, there's a lot of people that's got very big businesses who sole proprietors. I just don't think personally it's the wisest way of working. Yeah. Cool. I think that's my questions for March. I did answer the other questions early in the month. So if you guys like the videos, once again, remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, keep on asking questions. I love answering these type of things when I've got a little bit of spare time. And yeah, I'll check you guys soon. Cheers. Thanks for watching.